By now, I am sure you have an understanding of what session hijacking is and how one would do it. We have explained some of the key contributors and key impacts of session hijacking. Now we are going to go over key strategies used to hijack sessions. We can break them up into three different categories: brute forcing, stealing session IDs, and calculating session IDs.
So in brute forcing strategy, the attacker sends various session IDs until he succeeds. It is comprehensive as patterns are followed to generate session IDs and try to attack. And it is also highly time consuming. In the session ID stealing strategy, an attacker tries really different methods of stealing session IDs. This could involve the use of Trojans and sniffing the network. It could also involve cross-site scripting attacks or getting information from an HTTP refer header. Now, in calculating a session ID strategy, the attacker uses predictive mechanisms to calculate the session IDs. Now, these are not random techniques. The success of the technique really depends on the size and the key space of the session ID.
And a brute force attack is used to guess session IDs. An attacker uses different patterns to guess the session ID, and he or she keeps trying until he succeeds. Brute forcing is used to figure the destination session ID to initiate the attack. This works reasonably well when the session IDs follow a pattern and are not randomly generated. The attacker could use an HTTP refer attack to find out the session ID by luring the victim to click on a link that takes him or her to another site. In the process, the attacker tries to get the session ID.
Now, attackers employ different means to steal session IDs. They could really, like I said, sniff the network, use Trojans or cross-site scripting scripts. The attacker could use different patterns to calculate the session IDs as well. The probability of success really depends on the size and key space of the session ID, as we mentioned.